Digicom Weekly Growth Marketing Podcast.
Hey guys, today we have Matt Terrill. He is the owner of InnoVet Pets, and Matt is a lifelong inventor. Matt, thank you so much for jumping on our podcast this week. I am very, very excited to have you. Would love if you can tell our listeners a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me. I've been a lifelong inventor, and somewhere around in college, I began to understand that what I really wanted to do was invent products for dogs. I've seen the innocence and the beauty in dogs, and it's like they represent the best of humanity. And I wanted to combine my passion for dogs like that with my passion for inventing, and I didn't know how it would really work out. So I got a couple engineering type jobs after college. And then the first time that I had a problem with one of my dogs that there wasn't a solution for, I began inventing a solution for that. And it turned into my first patent. And then that started our company, and that was in 2005. And so for the past almost 20 years now, I've just been pursuing that. Whatever my dog's needs are, my family's dog's needs are, and not to exclude other pets. I mean, I love cats and that too, but my true passion and my truly best innovations have been for dog-related products and solving the problems for my own dogs.
So, Matt, you mentioned your company, and of course, we work with you, but our audience might not know your companies, right? And what you're doing. Could you talk a little bit about both the brands that you are currently building? I think the story there, it's pretty incredible, especially with the patents. I know you got your first patent with the first company, and then the second company, you're building patents. Would love, for you to talk a little bit about who the brands are, what they do.
Yeah. InnoVet Pet Products is our primary company. We got started with that in 2005 with a ear cleaner delivery product that gets ear cleaner and ear medicine deep into dogs' ears while they resist. And it basically saves people a ton of money with having deep ear cleanings done in a veterinarian's office under anesthesia. So, that product, it's called Periodic Ear Cleaner. It gets the whole ear cleaning process over with in just a matter of minutes and without anesthesia or anything like that. And then one of my dogs went blind in about 2008, and I created tracers, scented markers for blind dogs. And but that's a real niche product. So unfortunately, there was no way to really build a company off of that one thing. But I love the product. It helps people. So even though it's not the most profitable one or the most lucrative product, we still stick with it because it's really the right thing to do. And then in 2016, both simultaneously my Labrador and my Bulldog, they led me straight into the opportunity for CBD for dogs and pets. It was a necessity for it. It turned out that CBD was a necessity for them, and it was really difficult to get to. And I saw the ways that the few suppliers that were out there, I saw the ways that those CBD suppliers were manipulating people and overcharging by a factor of 100. It was just absurd. It was absolutely absurd. Something that should cost $10, they were charging $500 for. It's crazy. It was really dangerous at the time. We were at the time in 2016, CBD was not accepted on any level, in federally or state. So it was even though it was the right thing to do, and it was necessary to save my own pets, and I knew that other pets needed it. Also, we got into that market, and as the first ones to make it available to the public for pets over the internet through InnoVetPet.com, and we just stuck with it, even despite the risks and all that. We stuck with it, and it was definitely the right thing to do in every way. At that point, we soon got a lot of large corporations following us and emulating our innovations and applying better marketing tactics to those innovations, or just trying to tear us down altogether. And so that was a big learning curve, that having the best product, having the most significant innovation, it's not enough. It's not even close. It has to be paired with truly good marketing. Otherwise, we'll always get beat out by basically people copying. That was where InnoVet really got started into the public sphere in 2016. And so we had a good head start with CBD there, and we're still one of the most dominant players in CBD for pets online. But I never want to stop innovating. I never want to just rest on what we've accomplished so far. And so I'm always looking for another opportunity to make a meaningful impact on things. And so about 2-3 years ago, I saw the basically everything in the universe kind of pushing me toward dog food. And, I was spending over $1,000 a month on dog food for just my two dogs. And it was insane. I was basically spending more on their food than I was on my own. And, it was to try and take care of the Bulldog's skin condition and to try and put enough weight on this really active Labrador that I have. And $1,000 a month wasn't enough. That it wasn't enough to do it. And so I'm like, what more could possibly be done? So then I realized that both my dogs were basically pooping out half of the ingredients of each batch of food. They were pooping out half of them undigested. So that's why I really started looking into the whole dog food, especially fresh dog food. And I realized there was a tremendous opportunity there of allowing people to make their dog food at home with fresh ingredients and to easily customize the batches and the recipes to tailor specifically for their dog.
You transitioned from InnoVet, and I know I've heard this story a bunch of times, and it's quite remarkable. What's the name of the second company that you're building?
Okay, yeah. It took us quite a while to find a name that hadn't already gotten trademarked and that fit. And luckily, we were able to find the perfect one. It's Chefpaw dog food maker. And so we secured that trademark, and then it took another 6 months of hundreds of different logos to go through before we found the one that really fits. Yeah, and so we created Chefpaw brand alongside of InnoVet, and we really tried to incorporate all the lessons that we had learned the hard way through InnoVet in terms of the launching of Chefpaw. And so we were able to launch Chefpaw in about a year and a half of R&D and preparation. And we did it all self-funded, and within learning some of the things that we were forced to learn with InnoVet in CBD and our pure CBD brand, we saw that we could launch we could launch Chefpaw in a way that would not have a tremendous amount of overhead, and we would be able to utilize our existing email base from InnoVet to parlay over to Chefpaw to launch it. And we did such a good job within about a week of making the website for Chefpaw go live. We were dominating page 1 of the the keyword dog food maker, as well as a couple other ones. And so I really feel good about how we launched Chefpaw, very lean, without taking out loans or investors, anything like that. We also didn't go too far in right off the bat. Like, we didn't stock up on 1 million units like the way BlackBerry did. And, so we scaled it from 100 units to a few hundred units to 1,000 units, and we used that feedback from our loyal email base from InnoVet. We used the feedback from those loyal customers to really fine tune the messaging of Chefpaw, and fine tune the app, how it functions, add features that people wanted, delete features that people didn't care about, and perfect the machine and everything about it. And so now we're really at the phase where the only thing holding us back is really the logistics of how fast we can expand it at this point.
Yeah, I think that is the next part of growth. And I know, like, us and the team, we've been chatting about that quite a bit. We're waiting for more product to come back. You have a Chefpaw right next to you, I believe. Could you just walk us through the unit?
Oh yeah, it's so it cooks and it mixes food up to about 6 pounds at a time. And the concept is you just throw the fresh ingredients in. We use the app that we created to guide you step by step on which ingredients to add and how much of each ingredient. And it's got a scale built into it so that it really streamlines everything in that regard. And you throw the ingredients in, turn the machine on to the appropriate setting for your particular recipe, and then 40 minutes later, you've got about 6 pounds of fresh dog food. And The settings are really critical because some recipes have ingredients that will like stick together or difficult to chop. Also, the settings allow you to customize for your dog because like I've got my lab, he won't chew anything. He'll just inhale. He'll just eat stuff as fast as possible. So he's got to have a slow feeder, and if there's any chunks involved in the food, he won't chew them. They'll go right through them. So for him, he needs a higher blended setting so that it cuts stuff down into smaller pieces, so it's easier to digest for a dog that doesn't chew. And then my bulldog likes to really chew on things and likes chunks of stuff. So for him, we use a slower setting in the machine that mixes really, really slow and doesn't chop. It cooks, it mixes, chops up if necessary, and it's got a scale built in, and all of it is guided by the app that we created, which is a standalone thing. The app is really tremendous for making dog food with or without the machine. The machine is tremendous for making dog food with or without the app, but together the app and the machine really make dog food as streamlined as possible. And at the moment, I can't conceive of a better way to possibly make dog food.
Yeah. And I also know you've researched a bunch of recipes. Thank you for, jumping in and telling us so much about InnoVet and Chefpaw. For our listeners out there, what is a piece of advice you can give folks that are building their brands, whether they're starting off fresh or, they're currently in their journey? What advice can you give them to help them grow?
Well, I would say that in order to grow a business, especially a startup, it's really necessary to dive in and understand everything about the product, leave nothing to chance. And also in terms of along the way, there's going to be thousands and thousands of people that are going to pitch advertisements to you. Everything from individual small marketing companies all the way up to Amazon itself. And Amazon's they have multiple different marketing divisions that will pitch stuff at you. And the one common thing behind all of it for a startup is you have to demand accountability, because the single fastest way to have money disappear or to take a successful product launch and then have all of your funding go away, it's to put it all into advertising without any accountability behind it. That's really the thing that I like most about your company and Digicom is how much information you give us, how upfront you are about the details and the data, and you're accountable for it too. You see your success tied with our success in long term. It's not about it. All the other companies right out there, from small marketing companies all the way up to Amazon's marketing division, they just want to get as much money out of you as they can for that week or that month. And if that means you go out of business at the end of it, they don't care. They'll just move on to the next one. So I'd say, looking back, if I could change one thing about what we did with the opportunity with CBD, it would be I would have drilled down into all of the ad spend. Obviously, I wish we would have met you in Digicom before, but you could always come back to. You can always boil stuff back down to how much did these ads cost and how much money did these ads bring in? And if they can't give you a straight answer along that, you got to just stop. No matter how scary it is, you got to stop the ads and move on to the next ad agency that or marketing company that can give you a straight answer. And it's really hard to find, but we found it in Digicom, and I couldn't be more grateful for that.
I want to just say thank you for saying that. It is very important. Like, I myself am a bootstrap founder. I've tried to build brands before, some of them successful, some of them not so successful, but I learned a bunch of things out of it, right? And I very much understand the challenge, whether you've raised money or you're bootstrapping, like all of the pressures that go into building a company. And so, for us, accountability is important, like having the right KPIs, understanding your product margins. And what profitability means is, it's just very much weaved into our ethos. And our goal is to drive growth, but not growth in like we saw in the .com boom or right before pre-COVID, where it's like growth at all costs. Our goal is to drive profitable growth for select partners where we believe in the product and want to work alongside our partners. So I really, really do appreciate you mentioning that. It's accountabilities. It's looking at specific KPIs and also the no bullshit tagline, right? That's where it comes from. Like, if you're asking us, hey, we spent $1,000 in ads, how much did that generate, directly and indirectly, right? And we always have access to those numbers. So yes, for brands out there, I think very much it is important to have goals and KPIs, but also to break them down and understand the nuances of what that means for your business and how you can continue generating cash flow. Because at the end of the day, cash flow is very, very important to any business, and especially in rotating inventory, ordering new inventory, scaling up. So in terms of, where you see digital and e-commerce going over the next 5 years, what are your thoughts there and insights?
Well, I'm always an optimist, and I would like to believe that the trend is going to be toward the playing field getting leveled out and making it easier for a startup to access digital marketing in a profitable way. However, the reality that I see is I think it progressively becomes more and more difficult for a startup. The cost becomes higher. The number of ways that your money can go towards something that's not profitable, it's staggering. It's really staggering. It's a really tough question. I try to just stay in my lane and focus on how to expand, our own business and our own profitability. But I do occasionally think about what it's like for a startup. If someone if we were trying to start Chefpaw without having gone through what we went through with InnoVet, or without being able to use InnoVet's resources to parlay over to Chefpaw, I don't know how we would do it. Especially with CBD products in the hemp industry, the startup costs now are just unbelievable. It's probably, we couldn't have started our Pure CBD brand, though now it would cost hundreds of thousands of dollars more. We started our Pure CBD brand for like hundreds of dollars, and now there's no way to start a hemp CBD company for humans or for pets without hundreds of thousands of dollars and a large staff to maintain everything behind it. I would hope that the playing field gets more level, but with like new laws and with digital advertising, Facebook, and the accountability, the transparency, and all that kind of stuff, it sounds like it levels the playing field, but in reality, I don't really think it does.
What is one question that you wish I asked you, and how would you answer?
What is your experience with competitors, I guess?
So, how do competitors impact your business?
Well, I'd say that our competition is divided up into the majority of them are companies that follow what we do on a daily basis. They follow our emails. They study our website on a daily basis, every single thing about us. And they then copy anything they see innovative, and just they're primarily marketing companies that essentially steal ideas and then apply a better marketing, a more focused marketing strategy to it. For them, what I like to do is reverse engineer what they do, and to a certain degree do to them what they do to us. So we look at what their marketing tactics are that are successful, and then we apply it. There's a smaller minority of companies that just try and build themselves up by tearing us down. And there's nothing we can really do about that other than not make the mistake of shining a light onto those companies. Those companies, you just let them do what they're going to do. It's sad and pessimistic that there are people out there like that, but it's a reality. And then there's a very, very tiny sliver of competitors that actually innovate on their own. And for them, I give them props, and I wish them the best.
Those are the brands that are going from 0 to 1, right? Like just like you, they're creating new products, they're creating new, services. They're solving a problem that exists in the market versus like a fast follow, fast copy with better marketing. And so, yeah, no, I appreciate you calling that out. Where can our listeners find you?
Well, you can find us. Our biggest effort right now is on chefpaw.com, and our social media that's building on that on Instagram and Facebook for Chefpaw. We're going to be coming out with lots of videos, especially on YouTube. We're going to be, once this set is finished here, we're going to be developing a whole set of new videos comparing the old way of making dog food to the current Chefpaw way. Yeah, that's the biggest one, and then. Also, InnoVetPet.com is where the heart of all of our products are. The only reason that Chefpaw isn't inside of InnoVetPet.com is that our largest product on InnoVet is our Pure CBD product for pets. And CBD has so much baggage attached with it in terms of restrictions and all that we didn't want Chefpaw to be held back by the restrictions that CBD has on InnoVet. So for that reason, we created the separate Chefpaw website and the InnoVetPet.com website. But yeah, all of our innovations from 2005 till now are on InnoVet, and specifically all of our innovations with dog food, pet food actually, is on Chefpaw.com. And yeah, on that note, we're just a few days away from being able to expand the dog food calculations of Chefpaw over to cats and then small animals, horses. And then we'll even bring it full circle and have Chefpaw making human recipes.
That's amazing, Matt. Thanks for joining our show today.
All right. Thanks. Good to talk to you.